What the hell's going on today, everybody? Today I'm gonna make a fucking tier list of all the Dragon Ball villains in the entire franchise. Now, some of them are left out for some reason, like a lot of Dragon Ball villains just don't exist, and for some reason they threw a lot of fucking movie villains on here and some video games, and I'm not a big fan of that shit. And they threw Moro on here. It's like, Moro's the fucking manga villain that we haven't even seen on TV. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and make this as good as I can. Like, I even put them in like chronological order. Like, I tried really hard. I tried so hard. Anyway, this first villain, I think he's from Dragon Ball Heroes. I have no idea who this guy is. No idea who this guy is. So he's gonna go in D. Now, this guy, Demon God Demigra. If you don't know who he is, he made his first appearance in Dragon Ball. I believe it was an arcade game, but then he got readapted to fit the Xenoverse like timeline, which I've seen him in. So I'm gonna judge him off of Xenoverse. And now, he's not a bad villain, but he's kind of generic and a little bit boring. From what I can remember, he just wants to rule the world and release demon. He wants to open up the demon realm. It was like his big shtick, and he was basically directly opposed to the Supreme Kai of Time. Now for Xenoverse, he works, but he's kind of just okay. So for now, I'm gonna place him at C. He might get moved up, but probably not. And then these two. I don't even remember her name, but from what she appears in Xenoverse 2 as well. I think it's Mira, or is this Mira? I don't remember, but she's just okay. She's the sister of Tabora, who I'm gonna get to later. I don't remember her name, honestly, so she's gonna go probably C, because from what I remember, she works as like. Yeah, I keep burping. I just drank a freaking whole half liter of water, so I'm dying. But from what I remember, she works as like she's a good poker. She likes to instigate people into fighting you. So that's the only reason she might be. I'll move her down because she's not very good. Now Mira's awesome, especially in Xenoverse 2. Xenoverse 2, he really kind of comes into his own, and then he really questions his existence. Like, why am I here? Why do I want to keep fighting? Especially when you team out spoilers, I guess, for a game that's like 6 years old. But like, when you're fighting with Goku against Mira, he really starts to question his purpose. Now, he's not really well fleshed out beyond that one moment, so I'm going to put him at C. Like, he's not bad. I'm just saying, he had so much more room, just like Demigra, to grow. And they didn't really flesh out on that at all. Now, Android 21. She appeared in the Fighters video game. And she kind of works as a villain there. She's okay. She'll go at C. I don't really have a lot to say about Android 21 other than the fact that she's kind of boring. But whenever she appears on the screen, she draws attention to herself just by kind of being there. Now, Garlic Jr. Garlic Jr., he was placed right in between. I think he was placed at the end of Dragon Ball and before DBZ, which is why he's the first movie villain on this list. He really does fit into the lore of the franchise very well. I'm not going off of his like filler episodes in the middle of Dragon Ball Z. No, this is his movie. I'm only talking about his movie. He fits in the lore of Dragon Ball very well. And he kind of has that Dragon Ball-esque like villain dialogue, where he wants to like rule the world. He wanted to be the guardian of Earth, but it was given to Kami. So he's still holding on to that grudge. So he fits into the lore, and he's kind of formidable when he transforms. So I'm gonna place him probably a B for now. He's probably one of the better movie villains. Because then he got Turles. Turles is basically what would have happened to Goku if he would have joined Raddatz. He has no real distinct personality other than the fact that he kind of wanted to recruit Goku during his movie, but he failed. So Turles, he'll go He's bland. He's not very exciting. But he does have a few badass scenes that really make him seem scary. So he'll go at C for now. He might get moved down to D. Slug, his concept was okay, but his execution was garbage. Like, he was not executed very well. Poor Slug, because it could have been so much better. It's basically a Piccolo copy. And I hate it when the movies copy off of a good Dragon Ball villain. So he's gonna go at D because he's just a copy of another character who I'm gonna get to later when we reach the Dragon Ball tier. So Thouser, oh my God, why is he even on this list? He's a D. All he does is he just follows around Cooler and does whatever the fuck Cooler says. Cooler, he has a really good transformation, and he probably would have been a good character if he wasn't a carbon copy of his brother. But his transformation is unique, so I'm going to give him a C. Just solely because of his transformation and his ability to beat the holy hell out of Goku. Now he's going to go at D, because once Goku transforms into Super Saiyan, Cooler still gets wrecked. So it's the same thing. It's just discount Frieza, basically. Great value Frieza. Android 13, okay, the concept behind another Android 13 was awesome. I really liked this movie, all up until the point Android 13 transformed, and then I'm like, okay, this is bullshit. But Android 13 works as a villain, and it does fit into the lore. You know, Dr. Shiro made more androids that no one really knew about. So I'm gonna give him a C. He's an okay movie villain, but he could have had so much more backstory other than the fact that he just doesn't like Goku. Oh God, this is Broly from the first movie, because this is the Broly from the second, and then it says Broly from Dragon Ball Super. But this movie was god awful. It was good to look at. You know, if you just wanted to watch a fucking generic-ass action movie where you don't feel any connection to any of the characters ever. But his motivations are terrible. He gets pissed off because Goku is crying. Come on! That's it? That's your that's your thing? You just get mad because Goku cries. Alright, you're a D. Whatever. You look cool. That's about it. Your fight scenes are awesome. That's about it. Like, other than that, he's not a very deep character. Hachiak, he was from a special that only aired in Japan. He's a D. He kind of fits into the lore of one of the filler episodes of Dragon Ball Z, so he doesn't have a lot to back him up. So he's going to go at a D, because he doesn't say anything other than yell. Bojack. The idea of having Bojack imprisoned inside of King Kai's planet, and then was a good idea, because then when Cell blows himself up, boom, the planet's gone, and now Bojack is free. That concept is actually pretty good. But other than that, Bojack is very forgettable. I think he wants, galactic dominance, so he's basically a teal buff version of Frieza. I don't think I need to say anymore. The concept of his movie was good, but the character himself was pretty garbo. I might move Turles down. Yeah, I'm moving Turles down. Turles would go there. Right, he moved down. I did like Android 13, just because he was very unique, and he had a southern accent, and I liked that. Now this Broly movie was worse than the first one. I was not a fan of the first two Broly movies. The only part in this movie that I like is the family Kamehameha at the very end. Other than that, no. Get out of here. I do not like those Brolys. I'm so glad Bio Broly is not on this list, because I would have lost my shit. Now, Janemba. I totally wish they would have fleshed out Janemba's character, but they didn't. Janemba's a badass. His fucking abilities are amazing. He picks up like a broken club on the ground and turns it into this fucking sword. Janemba is awesome. But he has no character. But his abilities are very unique. I haven't really seen a character who could pixel themselves into like a portal and then pop out on the other side. So I want to give Janemba the benefit of the doubt and put him in as a C. He had so much potential, but the movie just didn't really flesh him out like that. It was more of just like a fan service because people wanted to see Goku Vegeta fusion dance. Hirudegarn, I really liked his movie up until Hirudegarn popped up, and then I was like, alright, I'm done with this shit. The character's Tapion is an amazing hero, but Hirudegarn sucks ass. He's just bad. He's basically a big Janemba. He could turn to smoke and then teleport behind people, whatever. No Hirudegarn. Okay, this Broly. I watched, I saw the new Broly movie like 2 days after it came out, and I was in love. I loved it. This Broly has so much potential, and he dominated the screen when he was on it. Now, granted, his personality was lacking, but the movie provided enough background to his character into telling you why his personality is lacking. Like, he lived on a planet with his dad for like 25, 30 years. So there's a reason why his personality isn't very well fleshed out, and he still kind of acts like a child. But I love this Broly. Right now, I think I'm going to place him at A, because I want to see where he goes from here. I wish he had more of a distinct, like, personality other than the fact that he's basically heavily traumatized child in a very powerful man's body, and I wish they would have fleshed out his power a little bit. I think they did say he has the power of a grade A without actually transforming, which I wish they would have fleshed out a little bit more. But for now, Dragon Ball Super movie Broly is an A, and I'm just realizing Beerus is not on this list either, and that kind of pisses me off. Anyway, Monster This guy is just... Carrot is funny. Like, he just exists to kind of further the plot. But he's okay. But he does, like, command his own, like, little gang. So he'll go at C. From what I remember, he's fun. He's lighthearted. A lot of the villains in Dragon Ball are just lighthearted. And so this next one, I think this is General Blue, if I'm not mistaken. And if I remember right, General Blue really gave Goku a run for his money as a child, and his abilities were pretty unique. But other than that, he was pretty much just a lackey for the Red Ribbon, so he's going to go at a C2. Okay. Piccolo. I am a big fan of Piccolo. There's a reason why Slug is a D, because Slug is a carbon copy of Piccolo. Piccolo is easily an S rank villain. Piccolo is S rank. You cannot tell me he's not S rank. Piccolo's on the screen, he dominates. Especially older Piccolo. I'm surprised they didn't throw young Piccolo on here, because he would probably be an A, because he doesn't have a large stint as a villain. And the fight scenes with Piccolo are awesome. He blows up Shenron. He kills Roshi. He kills Chaozu. Almost kills Tien. His henchmen kill Krillin. Like, it's just, when Piccolo shows up, he fucks shit up. And that's why I love him. He's the best Dragon Ball villain by far. Okay. Raddatz. Raddatz, he doesn't... Granted, when Raddatz shows up, it really flips the entire series on its head. Changes everything we knew about the series. But Raddatz as a villain, he's not very good. I'm going to make him a C for now. I might put him a B. No. a C. Because really, the only thing that's going for him is like, hey, Goku, I'm your brother. You should fight with me. Goku says no, and then he dies. So he doesn't really have a large stint. They could have had so much more potential. Because this is Goku's brother, who is evil. Like, they could have really fleshed this out, but they just didn't. It makes me mad. Cybermen, D. Like, all they do is grunt, yell, and blow up. Alright. Nappa. Oh. Now, Nappa, he has a little bit more of a backstory. The general of the Saiyan army. Basically, Vegeta's right-hand man. And he fucks shit up. And he loves torturing his enemies. Nappa is a B. Nappa's a B villain. Raddatz is a C. Nappa's a B. Vegeta. Vegeta's an S. He is an S. Now, Saiyan Saga Vegeta, he shows up and he is just badass. He, like, throughout the entire Saiyan Saga, you're sitting there realizing they're struggling against Nappa. Like, this other Saiyan hasn't even fought yet. And then when Vegeta grabs Nappa and tosses him into the air and blows him up, you're thinking, oh shit, Goku's gonna die. Again. So Vegeta, and especially when you get into this, the Namek Saga, Vegeta really fleshes himself out and really kind of comes into his own. So Vegeta is definitely an S villain. Dodoria. Dodoria kind of falls in the same rank as Thouser, but at least Dodoria has his own distinct personality. Kind of. I can't... The Frieza Force in and of himself, it was a very formidable opponent until Vegeta started getting the big power boosts that Toriyama just gave to Saiyans. Can I add a row? Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm hoping if I place him at D, it adds me another row. Does it? Alright, it does. Alright. So Dodoria, nothing really about him is rememberable. Doesn't really have a distinct personality. His abilities are okay. Just because of the way he's just so savage when he nah, Dodoria is a D. Now Zarbon, I think besides Goku transforming into a great ape, Zarbon is the first person to actively transform into something that doesn't look like himself. So for me, Zarbon, that's an interesting little fact, but Zarbon, he has his own distinct personality. He has this power that he never wants to use because it makes him ugly. But he does have a few abilities that make him a little unique. His look is definitely unique. Same thing with Dodoria, but Dodoria doesn't have a personality to go with it. At least Zarbon has a little bit of a personality. Zarbon's a C. And you notice I'm putting a lot of villains down here just because, like, most of these are fucking movie villains, and movie villains suck. Ginyu. Now, I actually kind of liked Ginyu. He's goofy, but he's super powerful, and his abilities are very distinct. So Ginyu is a B. I'll put Ginyu as a B villain. Frieza. Do I even need to say anything? Frieza's an A. Or S. Did I say A? I lied. Frieza's an S. Frieza is the S villain. The most memorable villain in the entire franchise. Frieza has to be S. King Cold. I wish they would have fleshed out King Cold a little more, other than the fact that he's just Frieza's dad. But he just gets one shot at by Trunks. So I think King Cold's a C. King Cold had potential, but Toriyama just decided to kill him when Future Trunks showed up. Alright, Android 19. Android 19 doesn't really have a personality. His abilities are definitely weird. How he can just absorb any key through his palms, and he really pushes Goku to Goku's limit, even though Goku was ailing from that heart disease or heart virus. Having a hard time placing Android 19. He does definitely has a distinct look, but he doesn't really have a good personality. So he's gonna go C. Dr. Shiro, Android 20, I think I'm probably gonna have to put him at a C as well, because he's basically just Android 19, but old guy. Old Android 19 who gets absolutely shreked by Piccolo and then killed by Android 17. Now, if you're counting these 17 and 18 as the androids from the Future Trunks saga, they're definitely A. But these don't look like the Future Saga androids. These look like, this looks like she's going to fight Vegeta, and this looks like he's going to fight Piccolo. So I'm going to treat them as they are in the DBZ timeline, not in the history of Trunks. 17, definitely, he has his own personality. He really does. He wants to go kill Goku just because he wants to. Like, that's his motivation. He just wants to do something, so he is going to go do it. Like, no one's going to stop him, besides Piccolo and Imperfect Cell. And he has some unique abilities, like his barrier, that you just don't see from other characters. So I would say Android 17 is an A. Android 18, I think, falls in the same ballpark. Even though she basically just kind of follows Android 17 around, she is a bad ass. And she is awesome. Even though I kind of do have to darker points from when Vegeta was fighting Cell and she just stood there and didn't do anything. But as a villain, she works. So I think she would also have to go as A, because they definitely have their own distinct personalities. Cell Jr., they're tiny. They don't really have personalities, but they really push the Z Fighters to their limits. And they have all the powers of Perfect Cell. So I think Cell Jr.'s would either have to go B or C. I'm leaning C, just because they don't have their own distinct personalities, but they are completely badass. Cell's is an S villain, 100% S villain. When Imperfect Cell first shows up, you have no idea what the hell this thing is. Basically, a big ass green bug sucking people for their power. And Imperfect Cell's fight with Piccolo is fucking amazing. And then after he absorbs Android 17, he just becomes a complete badass. I think gets wrecked by Super Vegeta. But then after he absorbs Android 18, he dominates the screen. Dominates it. His Cell's fight with Goku is easily top 3 fights ever in the entire series, in my opinion. If not top. He's definitely top 5 greatest villains of all time in Dragon Ball. Spopovich. Do I even need to say it? Like, no. Let's get out of here, Spopovich. Spopovich sucked. Yakon sucked. Pui Pui, his fight was entertaining, and if he appeared like towards the beginning of the franchise, he would have been a pretty tough opponent for these guys to face. But he appeared at the very end. So Pui Pui, at least he has his own distinct personality, which I can't really say the same about the other 2 Majin followers. Now, Bobbidi. The Wizard Bobbidi. I would say all Bobbidi does is whine and complain and then yell at Boo whenever he doesn't get his way. But when he's first introduced, he's badass. He destroys Spopovich without even trying. Turns him into a giant balloon and blows him up. And you can see the control he has over someone much stronger than him in Tabora. And I would say Bobbidi is a B. Now, Tabora. I like Tabora. I think he could have had a massive arc. But for some reason, Toriyama just decided to push Boo on us as soon as he could. But Tabora was awesome. His powers were unique. He's a complete badass, and his voice actor for the English dub was fucking awesome. So Tabora is a B. He has his own distinct personality. He's just a very unique character. Now, Majin Vegeta. Ooh, boy. His stint as a villain is short, but it hits hard. I would have to say Majin Vegeta. He would have. Oh man, either A or S, because he's basically what made Vegeta work as a villain, but a million times stronger. So I'm gonna make him an S. It's his arc when he's just evil and he's fighting Goku. That's also one of my favorite fights in the entire series, and his motivations are awesome. So Majin Vegeta is an S. Yeah, he's an S. Now Fat Boo. Okay. Now people are gonna get very mad at me with these next 4 choices. Fat Boo is awesome. When he shows up on the screen, when he first shows up in the show, you're very weary because you have no idea how powerful this guy is. He looks like a big freaking gumball. Why is he so strong? So Boo, in my opinion, he's really good, but he doesn't really have a distinct personality at this time. So as a villain, Fat Boo's an A. Now, I'm not saying that he's below these 3. I'm saying he doesn't really fit the qualifications of being an S villain, in my opinion. But Fat Boo definitely works as a villain. Super Boo. Oh boy. Now people are gonna start getting really mad with these next 3. Because what made Fat Boo an attractive character, very unique, he loses it when he starts absorbing people. He loses that weird personality that he has. Super Boo, he just shows up and he's just a badass. All he wants to do is fight the strongest person, which kind of sounds a lot like Cell. When Cell started his Cell games, and all he wanted to do was just toy with everyone and just fight and have fun. That's all Super Boo wants to do. Because he's a discount Perfect Cell. But he's still unhinged enough where he's kind of in his own element. I have a hard time placing these next 3, but I think Super Boo's a B. Because he's unhinged like Kid Boo, but he's kind of a copy of Perfect Cell. Now, Boo with Gohan absorbed is a carbon copy of Perfect Cell. All he wants to do is fight super strong people and then just destroy shit. That's all he wants to do. His personality is nearly the exact same as Perfect Cell. So I have a hard time placing him above a C. And his abilities are the same as Super Boo. So it's just a C. Super Boo with Gohan absorbed is a C villain. Kid Boo, he kind of brings back his own personality, even though he doesn't really say words. It kind of brings him back. He takes him away from Perfect Cell again and brings him back towards his Fat Boo counterpart. But all he wants to do is destroy. He has no real distinct personality other than that. So I'm gonna say Kid Boo would go in the same category as Super Boo. Now, Next, I don't really know the GT villains at all. I think I put them in the right chronological order in terms of like when they appear, but I have no idea where these guys go. I may just skip them, but from what I remember, Super Meta Rildo, he's just like the generic opening character. I don't really remember him at all. And when I was a kid, when GT first came out, I actually watched it as a kid, and I don't remember him at all. At all. So he's gonna go, just because I don't remember him, and I actually watched it when I was a kid, he's gonna go at a D. Android 17, oh god. His arc is okay. Him as a character is, all he wants to do is just kill Goku, which has been done many times before. But his abilities are different. As in, they're the fucking exact same as that's fucking Android 20. I can't place him above C. I can't. Now, Baby at least had a distinct personality, even though he was basically based off of a filler episode of Dragon Ball. Or Dragon Ball Z. The same filler, which provides you with Hachak, which kind of pushes my opinion towards him. Now, he does have his own distinct ability where he can enter the body of anyone who is even slightly injured. If they have a cut or a scrape, Baby can get into their body and control the person. Like, that's pretty badass and very unique in terms of Dragon Ball villains. So I'm going to make him a B. His abilities are unique, and his story actually isn't that bad. Now for the Shenrons. Oh god. Shenron, from what I remember, he's just a cheap fighter, but these two are the only ones that basically have a distinct personality. But Ice and Nova, I have a hard time placing these guys. Basically, because I haven't really watched GT since I watched it the very first time it came out on television. So I'm going to place Ice with Android 17. But I remember I liked Nova. So I'm going to put Nova at a B. And Omega, he's a fucking carbon copy of Perfect Cell. Again. So he's going to go at a C. Like, he dominates the screen when he's on it. But other than that, no. I'm just not a big fan of Omega Shenron. Hit. Now, Hit, classifying him as a villain seems very weird. Because, you know, he befriends Goku at the very end. But he doesn't... I wish Super would go into his backstory. But they never really did. All they did was said he was an assassin who's lived for 1,000 years. And then his abilities are awesome. So I'm going to have to place Hit at an A. His abilities are unique, but I wish Dragon Ball Super would flesh his character a little more. He's an assassin, but he also loves to fight, which kind of puts him above some of these other guys. Now, Zama Soo. This is not fused Zama Soo. This is OG Zama Soo. He's okay. Like, these next four came from the same arc, so I'm like, where's Beerus? Why is Beerus on this list? Zama Soo, his character's been done better in other places, and Zama Soo, all he does is talk shit about mortals. So he's gonna go to B. Now, Goku Black. I actually like Goku Black a lot. He was my favorite villain from Dragon Ball Super, even though there wasn't really a lot of villains to choose from. Unless you count Beerus, and I guess Beerus is my favorite. But, so Goku, I would put Goku Black at an A. His personality is pretty distinct from Zama Soo, even though I'm not... I guess I can spoil it, even though it is Zama Soo, but from a different timeline. He just stole Goku's body. So I think... And his transformation is very unique. Like, I feel like he went Rose because he's not a Saiyan. but he's in a Saiyan body, so he's able to transform, but it's not the traditional color. Like, whatever. But after they fuse, he does turn into a badass, but this version of Zama Soo doesn't last very long. He becomes like half corrupted very quickly. So the fact that this is even an option, he's basically just a carbon copy of Zama Soo, but with Goku's hair, with Goku Black's hair. So I have a hard time placing him above Zama Soo himself. Now corrupted, I think corrupted's in the same boat. Just because of the fact that he's the same character, just corrupted. Like, come on. Like, why is he on here twice? He's the same person. God dang. Now, Jiren. I don't know where to put him. Like, his arc in the tournament, the tournament of power, his story was not fleshed out. All he is a gigantic fucking muscle man who's extremely powerful. His abilities are weird. He just doesn't have a distinct personality again. Like, we're at square one, especially in the anime. They don't flesh him out at all. All he wants to do is just fight the strongest people, and then all he does is sit there and meditate, and then he just waits. He doesn't fucking do anything besides fight Goku. That's it. Oh, and hit, I guess. But other than that, he doesn't do anything. He has no real distinct personality other than the fact that he wants to fight strong people. So I have a really hard time placing him with people like Tabora and Zama Soo and Ginyu, because he doesn't have that personality. He doesn't. So he has to be a C, and he's lucky I'm not putting him at a D. Now Moro. I haven't read the manga chapters, but from what I hear, Moro was a really good villain. From what I know of Moro, I can kind of place him around A. Like, these manga chapters that are coming out are fire. But I don't know if he'll be an S villain. I know he's better than Boo from what I've seen in the manga chapters, but he's not as good as Piccolo and Vegeta and Frieza and Cell and Majin Vegeta. Now, I tried really hard not to let my own bias show, and I really kind of pushed for looking at the character themselves and then kind of determining where they belong. But I'm pretty happy with this list. I know in the beginning it was a lot of C's and D's that were just placing down here, because most of these are movie villains and GT villains. But anyway, I hope y'all like this long ass video that I didn't think was gonna be this long. I might make another one of these soon, because I love ranking shit. Anyway, I'll see y'all later. Fuck.